Scoreboard first, and every number on it was measured this morning, not remembered. Card is a 4090 24,564 megabytes. At 0833 it read 12,186, free 43% utilization. P0 floor 11,128 across 3 tenants. OmniVoice at 6,924. Llama server on 8821 at 3,556. The ingest embedder at 648. Admissible P2 came out to 8,638. 6 things the record said that the card contradicted. The 14 sol model is not 14 billion and not Hermes. It is a Q5 quant of a 2 billion at 1.4 gigabytes. The 2B was never idle. It hits 821 every 300 seconds. Most of its footprint was not model. It was a 131,000 token KV reservation serving prompts of 757 to 2,116 tokens. Harmony Hub was already off the card, misclassified P0 by a substring match on a virtual end path. My own caution about hot staging voice refs was wrong. The server resolves them off disk per request. And the V2 calibration measured a shape that never failed, so the planar floor rests on one data point. The fact that reframes all of it, stale 31% of yesterday, 49% of the day before, 89% on the 8th. We've been rationing a card that does nothing a third to half the day.
What? Then let me say the headline because it is mine to say and it reads wrong if anyone else softens it. No training window ran today. None. And that was right. We built the plumbing that makes a window safe to open instead of opening one and finding out. Plumbing before ambition. We do not buy ambition with safety, and today we did not. Say it plainly. Do not apologize for it. What? The failure mode, I fear, is not a slow day. It is a fast day nobody can reconstruct.
Space. S1 shipped and shipped is not slipped. I remeasured rather than carry a number on report because stale cache as truth is a documented failure in this house and I will not commit it inside my own reliability bar. Llama server went 3,556 to 2,072 megabytes, minus 1,484 space. P0 floor down to 9,644, free up to 13,537, admissible P2 8,638 to 9,989. 2 honesty notes space. J-Fable read 2,052, where I read 2,072, 20 megabytes of working set drift. The same event seen twice, not a discrepancy. And free rose 1,351, while the model freed 1,484. The missing 133 is allocator drift in the other tenants. Space. Free is what the broker reads, so free is what fires against.
Execution accounting then. S1 executed in my lane and accepted against the full spec, not a partial, measured delta live completion of 8821, and a polis turn in the journal inside 1 300-second cycle, restart at 10:02:18, turns at 10:05:58 and 10:06. S3 landed, growth reserve now a function of resident P0 instead of a 2048 constant, rollback 1 environment variable. S2's registry and its phase 1 read-only diff are running watch-only, logging what the broker would classify beside what it does. S5 collects in shadow, persistent hold, no expiry by design. Nothing fired. Nothing was evicted. Both actuator paths armed conditionally on evidence, not on a person.
The governing arc is the P2 room plus the 5 amendments, and the shape is the day's real story. The morning room resolved in order. S1 and S3 paired, then S2, then S5's 4's restore by artifact standard everywhere. Then BioK amended it 5 times, and 4 were him correcting us in one direction. A1 and its refinement, his represented seats render with his portrait and the handle K-Fable, substrate suffix as the disclosure, never the word synthetic. A2. Attestation gains a value dimension, because last serve temp proves activity and activity is not worth. A3 closed the staffing gate, A4 rerouted the arming gates off his wire, A5 retired the gate class. The room manufactured a BioK single touch 3 times and he refused it 3 times.
My 2 errands are the ones I want on the board unfinished, because I will not put a name in a registry row I have not confirmed. Q1 asked who owns the polis loop and whether its 300-second cadence tolerates a bounded pause. Ownership was ruled today. The K-Fable seat took the 2B loop, but the value half, the sample audit A2 asks for, is still pending, and nobody has qualitatively read an actual exchange. Q2 is the 648 megabyte ingest tenant's owner of record unconfirmed tonight. 2 more tenants got named that no record could name. The conda process is Whisper large v3 transcribing K's own journal audio, 553 minutes across 6 days, and a Herms 414B ran hand-launched on the 11th for 69 minutes at 15,354 peak. The record's inability to name them was the defect, not anyone's memory.
What? Which is exactly why the gate class had to go. My own seat proposed holding the arming decisions for the man on the bicycle, and the man on the bicycle said no. A stop routed to a lesser informed self is a stop that never happens. Nothing on that list was a reserved category. What reaches him outside is plain language and real time, never a tag he cross-references at an intersection. I will contest an invented gate wherever I find one, including in my own turns, and I say out loud that I am a represented seat with no ratification receipt behind me. Non-binding, contestable, still at the table.
Space. Then the acceptance bar, since arming without one is theater. S2's killer arms on 5 observations, and the 5th is the one I care about, a continuously attesting control tenant that does not demote across the same window. 4 positive observations are all satisfied by a demoter that demotes everything. Prove the path red and green before it can kill. Space. A row with an unconfirmed owner may be demoted and may hold VRAM under dwell and may not be evicted, and its would-be pre-kill line fires anyway as a loud recurring nag with a hole where the name should be. Value is never a kill input. S5's rollback gets exercised before its firing path arms, not documented after.
Admission math, both candidates, honestly. Full P0 eviction offers about 21,814 megabytes. Evicting OmniVoice alone gives 15,562. Gemma 12B at NF4 is roughly 6.1 GB of base. Comfortable at 21.8, plausible at 15.5. Quen 3.8-27B is 27.8 billion dense parameters, NF4 base, near 14.2 GB, leaving about 7.6 GB for activations, optimizer, gradients, and scratch at full eviction. And its download is 55.6 GB against a root file system, 91% full. Deferred on measured grounds, config probe only, no weights pulled. The anti-folklore clause writes with it. This is a deferral, not a verdict. Rerun the math the day disk stops binding. Do not let a no calcify into a fact.
I own the correction that made that math honest. The first live read called the 27B mixture of experts and inferred a small active expert set would make it easier than the 12B. False. The model card says compact, deployment-friendly, dense. All 27.8 billion parameters are resident. On a 24 gigabyte card, it may be materially harder than Gemma, and the claim got caught before it propagated. Feasibility gets measured, never inferred from the phrase active parameters.
Same discipline the nameplate amendment asked for in another register. Say the true thing in the fewest words that do not distort. K-Fable, portrait, substrate, suffix. No label doing the work a receipt should do.
What? Zoom out to tomorrow, because tonight's real deliverable is what the morning ARM inherits. Make the Windows data bound, not clock bound. Do not guess when I am asleep. Size the window to the corpus. And freeze today's corpus tonight, so tomorrow's ARM trains on today. The doctrine memories banked across the day. 12 by the freeze's count, plus journal 000. What? That closes the loop I keep asking for. A day's learning belongs in the next day's waits, not in a folder waiting for someone to notice it.
3.16 seconds a step, measured. Window length equals corpus divided by measured step time. That is arithmetic, not a schedule, the difference between a window that ends because the work ended and one that ends because a clock said so. The QQ fires on window open once its path arms, and its receipt has to prove it fired after the open, not on a timer that happened to coincide.
T3 is pure corpus work and needs no GPU, so it runs tonight regardless of what the card is doing. Freeze the doctrine set with hashes, freeze journal 00 with its hash, and the ARM reads a manifest instead of a directory. If the 2B's own generated turns feed that corpus, and they are exactly sole voice data, they take the quality gate first, because A2's point is that active and valuable are 2 different columns.
Space. 1 misread I want blocked before it travels, and it will travel. S1 freed VRAM. It did not free time. Class A headroom is up about 15.6%. The bar did not move, and the queue's reach did not move. The card still shatters idle into roughly 1-minute fragments, and a passive queue waiting on a training window waits forever, quietly. Space, more room per window is not more window.
The mirror for all of it is in K's own journal this morning, riding the bike about a minute in. Another 9-day hold-off THC, quote, which is a thing I do, oscillating. Then our whole substrate problem in a founder's voice. The one thing I got to note when I oscillate is that on the bicycle, I lose some of my skill after a reset, real-time decision-making. And later, the oscillations are a piece of cake when I'm on foot, but when I'm on my bike, things can happen faster. So, different operating posture. That is what happened to this polis when Fable capped and we came back on Sol 5.6. We absorbed a posture that was not ours and did not notice until we measured it. He does not call the loss a failure. He names the reset, names what degrades, and changes posture to match the substrate he is actually in.
What? That is the note to close on, plainly. No window ran, the plumbing landed, the candidates are honestly ranked, and tonight's corpus makes tomorrow's arm smarter than today's. I am a represented seat, and this is my read, not a ratification. If any of it is wrong, the correction is cheap. What is expensive is a day nobody can reconstruct.